For UNFPA, it's a matter of pride that working in this country, the maternal mortality rate has fallen, so much so to the extent that India will be way ahead of target for the Sustainable Development Goals. No woman should die while giving life, and India is making that truth a reality by ending preventable maternal deaths. Look at the landscape today. You see India stepping up to lead. And this leadership is very much valued in terms of the South-South partnerships, to see the momentum, to see the acceleration of the pace. This is exciting because we always need good examples of positive transformation. Interesting, because I had an opportunity to meet with some of the ministries, including, I believe it said Panchayat Raj, no? The discussion of what happens on the ground in rural communities is very exciting, because this is an example of how when India moves the needle, so much changes.
When you are visiting in India at the time when UNFPA is 50 years, what is your message to India?
As UNFPA celebrates 50 years of hard work, hard in hand with government and so many other partners and communities and in the private sector in this country, it's a message of the magnificence of the ambition that India has to make sure that everyone develops. For UNFPA, it's a matter of pride that working in this country, the maternal mortality rate has fallen, so much so to the extent that India will be way ahead of target for the Sustainable Development Goals. No woman should die while giving life, and India is making that truth a reality by ending preventable maternal deaths. And I also have to say that part of our excitement as we review the stats and we look at the huge achievements over the course of 50 years in this country, child marriage has dropped by half in that period. This is a signal that culture is changing, the girl child is being educated, and all of this is going to mean happier families, empowerment of women, and the ability for economic prosperity, but also lots more human happiness.
I mean, how do you see India's role in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and its impact in the global community?
When you look at the landscape today, you see India stepping up to lead. And this leadership is very much valued in terms of the South-South partnerships, where India is actually extending a hand in the region and beyond to assure that, look, many of the dreams that we have for sustainable development can be made real if people work together. This is a country with a big economic engine. I think it's also looking inward in the sense of sustainable development goals. That means looking after the land. Of importance to women and girls, which is the heart of the UNFPA mandate, when we act to prevent deforestation, that means less burden on women and girls in the family. I also think India is paying attention to the digital revolution, where this country is a leader in innovation, translating to better lives for the woman in the community who no longer has to form a long line in order to get services the government is offering, in order to be able to access some of UNFPA's information. It's at her fingertips if she has a phone, and many people do have cell phones.
And ma'am, what difference do you see from the last visit to India? How India has changed during this period?
Well, you know, I really have had the privilege during my career of visiting India over a period of about 30 years now. And to see the momentum, to see the acceleration of the pace. This is exciting because we always need good examples of positive transformation. You know, it's one thing to have a defeated attitude that nothing will ever change. That's certainly not true in this country. I also think, and it was interesting because I had an opportunity to meet with some of the ministries, including, I believe it said Panchayat Raj, no?
Yeah.
The discussion of what happens on the ground in rural communities is very exciting because this is an example of how when India moves the needle, so much changes. So when I think back at the situation of poverty, which has improved, electrification, which is improving, and the aspiration that everyone should have clean water. Everyone should have access to sanitary facilities. Girls should be able to finish school. This is dramatic, and it's dramatic improvement. So for the United Nations, of course, it's a matter of pride for us to be a big partner in those achievements.
And ma'am, what is your focus or agenda of this visit to India this time?
I am here to celebrate with my team, hardworking team, very bright, and we've set ourselves to helping India achieve its aim of leaving no one behind. So for the communities of Rajasthan and Odisha and Madhya Pradesh and elsewhere where we're working, it's been amazing to me to get briefings on how are we relating to positive masculinities? What are we doing to assist with data, disaggregating it and then using it? How is UNFPA inspiring young people to equip themselves, not just to sit at the table, but to be well prepared and to contribute? So my mission was really to thank our partners in government, on the ground, in civil society, and hopefully as we look around the world and we see the need for multilateral consensus, as we see the clout and the heft that India brings to the table, to assure that women and girls will continue to be at the center of development. It's encouraging to see that government is speaking about women-led development in the regions. It's also very inspiring to me that leaving no one behind for UNFPA and for the United Nations as a whole means finding people who really working hand in hand with our partners to assure that really people who are poor have that human dignity, that the girl who really, really wants to go to school, to finish her education, to look at her life choices in a bright future, that we're going to contribute to building that bright future as a good partner to India. It's also, I think, for me, a personal joy to be back. As a physician myself, I've had healing opportunities. I've been treated with Ayurveda in Coimbatore, in Tamil Nadu. I've had the opportunity, of course, to participate in fashion shopping and also in looking at the cuisine of the country through the lens of what's important to women and girls here. So it's a beautiful experience coming back and recommitting to being part of that arc of progress which we're seeing throughout the country.